Hello and welcome to the third episode of the Steven Universe Rewatch Podcast, which still does not have a name.
Has no name. I was even going to do a bit entering. I was going to be like, hey, all you cool cats and kittens. But wow, we got to get a name for this.
Yeah, I feel like after this point, it's inexcusable. I will just choose a name, even if it's terrible.
Make it, just make it
I'm Jim,
awful.
by the way.
And I'm Tom.
Yeah, so, if this is your first time joining us, you picked the wrong one. Start with episode 1, because we're going through Steven Universe.
Yeah, you
chronologically.
idiot.
Well, maybe not. Idiot. We're going through Steven Universe in order. This is a rewatch podcast. We will spoil things. So just get your butt ready, because we've both seen the whole series. We're big fans.
Ready to talk about it. I've got my LaCroix in hand.
Oh, hell yeah.
Ready
I've
to
got
go.
a cranberry vodka.
Ooh, that sounds
yeah.
a lot better, actually.
It's helped me cope.
Final Fantasy VII's been doing that for me. But that's a different thing.
So yes, today we're going to be talking about episode 3 of Steven Universe called Cheeseburger Backpack.
Cheeseburger backpack. Cheeseburger backpack. I love this episode, first off.
I was so shocked at how great this was. Maybe I should stop being shocked. It's just seeing these early Steven Universe episodes and being like, the show was never bad. The show was always great.
Yeah, and that's my thing. It never... There was never a time where I was like, it's Steven Universe, like, whatever. Like, I don't know. I just think that it came out the gate swinging, and then, everything was, everything was good.
Yeah, it starts off on this really strong base, and this is where I'm really happy that we're doing this show, because there's a lot of little, like, background things or little tiny details that I was able to be, like, paying closer attention to on this rewatch, because I knew, like, all these things further down the line, so that'll be really fun to touch upon that. One thing I always look out for is, like, can you actually see Steven forgetting the item, the statue? And I'm pretty sure you can't. I think that they keep that as, like, a reveal.
Yes, yeah. I was actually kind of on the look for that, too. I don't believe you see that at all, which is unfortunate, because it would have been funny, but...
Yeah, unless there's, like, one frame of it in, like, the background on his bed.
I mean, maybe.
But yeah.
I don't have the technology to dig that deep.
Enhance. Show me Steven's disgusting bedroom.
Show me his skin. So the beginning of the episode, we meet Jamie for the first time.
Another thing where I was like, oh my god, I thought Jamie was, like, a way later character. I was so shocked to see him so early.
Yeah, right? And it's very interesting, because I really did not expect him to come into play at all, but he does have his moments.
He does. I think he's really funny in this. He plays, like, a very good straight man to Steven's wackiness in this scene.
Yeah, and my thing is, too, like... I don't know why I found it so odd that he would have to go on a beach to deliver mail. But, like, for some reason, that just made me laugh in of itself, even though it's such a stupid, mundane detail. Just thought it was funny. But yeah, Steven gets the legendary gag items from Wacky Sack Supply Company.
The titular cheeseburger backpack.
Oh, yeah. And then he goes back into the house, and he sees all of the gems, getting ready to go on some crazy adventure. Actually, no, he doesn't. I'm sorry. Doesn't he? Isn't Garnet covered in feathers?
Yes, Garnet is covered in feathers. They apparently had a mission where they fought a giant chicken, and Amethyst stole the egg in a funny gag where she tries very hard to put it in the fridge, and then you hear it crack open as she slams the door, which I thought was pretty good.
Oh my god, that would be miserable to clean up. I hate cleaning up, like, egg whites and egg yolks as a side note in a kitchen.
Yeah.
I do not like the feeling of them. So, like, when some gets on the counter and I have to wipe it off, I hate it.
Funny little tangent. So right now we are living in the #quarantine zone. So I went out shopping, I think 2 weeks ago. My goal was like, all right, I'm going to get a ton of food. I'm not going to not have to go out again for like a month, whatever. So as I'm at the grocery store, I'm all suited up. I've got gloves. I got my mask. And I pick up my eggs. And people were like monsters, and they just like destroyed all the egg cartons. So the one that I had was like broken. The carton itself was broken. So as I lifted it, one of the eggs slid out and cracked right on my cart and then scooped everywhere.
no.
So then I had to clean this egg in the store, like because I've worked retail before, so I don't want to like find a kid and be like, clean up my mess, please. So I did it myself.
Oh, that's miserable though. Oh, like the feeling of eggs on gloves. Ugh.
Knowing that Steven has to deal with this just in probably a few hours after the episode ends. Really harrowing stuff, folks.
Random question too. So Pearl can put things in her gem,
yes,
for storage. Can she fit she can fit things that are larger than the circumference of the gem, right?
We see her in a later episode of Steven Universe Future. We see her taking toilet paper out of it. So
true.
I would assume that toilet paper is larger than her gem.
Okay.
So yes, the answer is yes.
So could she just like put the egg in her head?
Oh, I don't know. That is a really. I guess technically they probably could have bubbled the egg.
Be a big ass bubble, but true.
Yeah. Very interesting. Yeah, that's something we should pay attention to. We should see if Pearl materializes or puts things in her gem that are too big to fit.
New counter.
So yeah, we get the whole thing where they're like, oh, we have to take this special statue, the moon statue, to this place. And this is, I think, last episode I was confusing things. I thought this mission was about the Heaven and Earth beetles, but I'm not correct.
Yeah,
there.
that one is Giant Woman.
Oh, is it? Okay, another one that I'm stoked. I don't know when that episode's coming up, but I'm stoked to get there.
I know. The music when they transform too. But so good. But yes, that will be pretty soon actually.
Cannot wait.
Yeah. But so like an interesting note with the moon goddess statue, it like these earlier episodes, they play more with the like mystical aspect of things, whereas like later in the series, especially when Peridot comes around, like all the gem stuff is clearly just very advanced technology.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you know, these kind of episodes like Heaven and Earth Beetle, Moon Goddess, like it's all very more like spiritual and mystical. So like I wonder when they decided that they were going to go full on with the tech aspect. Like,
yeah, and there's always that classic, I think it's from Isaac Asimov, I'm not sure, but like the idea that sufficiently advanced technology would appear as magic.
yes.
Or like mysticism to someone who's not ready for it. Like if I went back to like George Washington times and I showed him my Epic smartphone, he would probably be like, call me a witch and smack my face or something.
Smack your bottom, yes.
Yeah, smack my bottom. That old pervert, that old creepazoid.
Yeah, get those wooden teeth, give him a little chomp.
Yeah, that is a good point though, because I think it's really when we see like Peridot show up where everything is very like tech. It feels like techier.
Yeah.
Whereas this stuff is, and it kind of I think goes with like that's like a big theme and you see in literature a lot where like technology bad and like sort of like nature and natural things good, and by having them be like gem based, like all these things are like of course related to gems. Mm-hmm. That is like natural in a sense, even though you could not get gems to look like this naturally.
Yeah, no, but that's true. I the whole thing just is interesting to me because like all this early stuff seems very like ceremonial almost, where you know, maybe it was just because it was thousands of years ago, but like
I mean, they're going to a temple, right? Do they refer to it as a temple? I can't remember.
They call it the Sea Spire.
Okay. I'm lying again.
But I don't know, just an interesting note, and it'll be fun to, as we progress, kind of see it switch over. I mean, it all comes with like Steven getting more understanding of gem society too. Yeah. And actually, as a good transition, this is the first time we start to really hear about gems, because Pearl is talking about how it used to be a haven for gems, the Spire.
Yeah.
And we get that gems can be really freaking old, because I don't think we got an age for them before this, but then Pearl mentions that it was like the spire wasn't in disrepair 100 years ago.
Hmm.
So just a little peek into how old the gems can be when 100 years is like casually dropped, you know?
And it's really cool too because like obviously we're coming into this rewatch knowing everything,
Yeah.
but seeing this information slowly doled out, it's I think done pretty well. And just like also, so yeah, the last episode we see like that there are these big earth-shattering forces that exist in the universe, that the gems are the only ones equipped to fight. In this we're seeing that there's like a long history and like these huge
Yes.
locations. It's really cool world building, I think. And like
Yeah.
it's done in a very fun and natural way. Like, so I think we can jump ahead with a little recap a little bit. So yeah,
Mhm.
Steven ends up saying like, "Oh, I'm gonna take the statue in my backpack," and then he overpacks. They go through the warp, and then when they actually get there, Pearl's reaction is like, she's like so distraught. Not like it's played for more as a joke, but she's really distraught at the how the place doesn't look how it should have, and like everything's in disrepair, and like this valuable history is being lost.
Yeah. Which, I mean, is really tragic when like, it's played for jokes initially, but it is kind of messed up when you think about it. I mean, like, this was home to, I'm assuming, thousands and thousands of gems, not the Spire specifically, but like all of this stuff is just decaying away, and meanwhile, Pearl, Garnet, and Amethyst are, as far as they know, the only gems alive on Earth.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And you were saying before, and like I think our last episode, how it's kind of crazy that humans aren't like investigating the gems more. And like, did you like? I think the one thing that is there's kind of the deterrent where they have that like uh natural like whirlpool around the thing that prevents you from going inside,
Yeah.
which we say they get in pretty easy. But it's kind of crazy that humans aren't there, like archaeologists. Like we know that there must be archaeologists in this world, but they have historians. They have like a
Libraries and
society.
museums. Yeah. Like,
Yeah, so it's crazy that there aren't like, and maybe it's just like they just don't know it's there, or there's like other maybe natural forces that or like supernatural forces that prevent people from exploring. But
yeah, or like warnings left by that's what interests me so much. I mean, a in a realistic society, like, people would be all over this stuff because it's incredible.
especially since it's in international waters too, so it's not like honestly though, because you like the one thing I think that prevents a lot of maybe like if say that this was in a country that is more like restrictive on uh or has certain different priorities with the government, so like it's a less developed uh government, or I don't know how to phrase my thoughts properly, but like say if there was some ruins in North Korea,
Yeah.
it would be hard for America or any internet any someone in the international community to go and inspect this. But
Yeah.
here it's in international waters, we're assuming, since it's like Emmett or Garnet says it's like a 3 hour paddle back home.
Yeah, at the very end. Um, yeah, that's yeah. I mean, it's just interesting. I really would like to know more about like the human government in this world, because we assume that it's as close to ours as possible. But I mean, like, I just it'd be very interesting to see, like, if you drop gems in real world Earth's history, how we would have developed versus how the show
Yeah.
develops. But just an unanswered question.
Yeah, having all these wonderful immortal wives just hanging around
Yeah,
everywhere.
waifus.
Uh
Who's your gem waifu?
it's actually lapis lazuli.
Hey, you're everybody ever.
She just has a really really good design. I can't help it, guys.
Oh
I
yeah.
can't help it.
So yeah, moving forward though, they get to the spire and things are not great, and there's obstacles in the way. But Steven brings the entirely wrong stuff that happens to work perfectly for some of the obstacles.
So one thing I want to touch on this was I feel like a lesser cartoon would have had missteps in this area, but Steven Universe is like its priorities are in such different places that it makes this a really fun scene. So we're initially kind of given the impression, like, just from this, like, the dynamic of this episode, Pearl being overprotective, Steven being, like, foolish and not realizing how dangerous it is.
Yeah.
And so we start seeing Steven, we see him, two examples of him like succeeding and by using unconventional means, and there's a chance for Pearl to be jealous. Like there's one thing where Pearl's like, okay, I have a plan, let's do it this way. Steven completely subverts her and does it a different way, and Pearl just makes like a funny joke about like, oh well, my plan would have worked too. And I think if it were a lesser show, they would have made the conflict of the episode like Pearl being jealous of Steven. But they don't do that. Like, all the gems immediately, like the next challenge, your gauntlet, whatever, they're like supportive of Steven. Like, they literally have like look to him and say, all right, what's next? Like, I just think it's really cool how all of the character dynamics have shifted in just this one episode.
I do love that. And that's a major thing that I feel we'll see throughout the series too. Like unconventional reactions compared to what you would expect from other shows. Like, yeah, that would be a major plot point for some other cartoons or shows, but just having them actually be like proud and loving, it's just appreciated by myself personally, because I love that, like, I don't know, it just that caring, loving feel that Steven Universe portrays with its characters. And
that's one of the... I'm sorry.
Oh, no, please.
That's one of the things that can be really frustrating with a lot of these kind of cartoons, where the whole thing is like every episode feels like it's a fresh slate. So you will have a character who is like the best friend of the main character acting completely like irrationally or acting really mean, and that can happen in real life. But like with this, like Pearl still like deeply loves Steven, so she's going to immediately... She's not going to just be, like, super jealous of him suddenly. And she, like, definitely be on his side.
Yeah. A good mom. A good mom.
Yes. The best one.
And what is even more interesting, too, is they do call back to this episode later on, and kind of reveal that they were kind of testing Steven.
Yeah.
So, like, it even makes sense later on, too, where they're like, oh, of course, they were asking him what to do next because they wanted to make sure he was good to start going on adventures with them. And I love that. Like, the fact that this is episode 3, and then maybe, like, episode, like, 35 or something like that. They're like, yeah, no, that was a test. And it makes their reactions even more realistic.
Yeah.
So, just neat. Just cool. And
very, very good.
Something else I love too is, so the first two, entirely weird ways of getting through it with the sweaters and then just using bagels to distract the little shrimp creatures. And then perfect comedy. The third thing, he actually has a valid item, the raft, and you're like, oh, okay. And then immediately doesn't work.
Yeah, it's very funny.
And then, so what? Tell us what happens after that, Jim.
So I think that's the last one. They ascend the staircase and they reach the top of the moon tower, or whatever it's called.
The love spire.
The love spire. No. And so they reach this point where, we have no time left. We have to put the statue down, and Steven realizes he didn't bring it. He left it on his bed. And this is another thing too, like, so he brings out like a doll that we see, Mr. Queasy, and there's this moment. There's actually a lot of things I really like in the scene. So we have this moment where he picks up Mr. Queasy and puts it on the thing, and the pedestal, as if to see if it'll work. And I think Pearl or Amethyst says, "Will this work?" And they both look at Garnet, and this is really cool because we know later on Garnet has future vision. And this is a little detail that I thought was really neat. And Garnet's reaction, of course, is which is great.
Oh yeah, perfect.
Because and that's funny too, because when you actually get more development of her future vision, you see that it is so variant. There's so many different ways that things can play out. So she can't even give an answer.
That's a great point. That's something I didn't even consider while watching the episode. But just that little look to Garnet was.
It's these little details, and this is like, I really feel this way about when Fusion's introduced too. Like, it just feels like the series has so much that it wants to show, but it's being really patient about revealing it.
That's the thing. I mean, like, this just goes to show that they had a clear idea of everything from the very beginning, and just I love that. I love that in a series. Like, Avatar: The Last Airbender, I felt the same way about, just that I appreciate a series that knows what it wants to do from beginning to end, because that way it's able to keep a consistent universe. I don't know
Yeah.
what's going on with my voice. I'm sorry. In the beginning, and have details that all make sense when you get the information later.
And there are so many like fantastic moments just in Avatar. Like one of my favorite moments is when Toph realizes that she can metal bend,
Oh my
and
god!
it's just like Toph is a character that we've seen for like a whole season, and we've got like all this time with her, and like we've been pretty much explained like, oh no, this is impossible. So when we see her do this and like learn how to do it so naturally, it feels so good, and that's how Steven feels too. Like it feels so cool to get these like big, like I think the um amethyst, or sorry, the garnet reveal is going to be like a big one that we can chat
Oh
about
yeah.
when we reach that episode, which is like, wow, there's so much that was brewing under the surface that they were just waiting to reveal in this really powerful moment.
I know. Oh my god! And then
I love Steven
I do
Universe.
too. And then that episode was like, "You sons of bitches!" Like, oh, oh, yeah. We'll have to wait, but there's a lot to talk about for that.
Yeah, so okay, the one other thing. So we see Mr. Queasy get put on the pedestal. And another thing, a lesser show would have done two things. They would have either the Mr. Queasy thing would have worked, and that would have been fucking stupid. It would have been really stupid if that had worked, because why would this stupid doll work
Yeah.
in this ritual? Or two, they would have had the characters be like angry at Steven for messing up. And they don't do that. The gems are all like they're alarmed that he messed up, and then it's like they've got like an action sequence where they need to save him, but there's never a moment where they're like angry or disappointed. It's just like one thing I really like about Steven in general that I think it does a really good job with is how natural failure is in life,
Yes.
and how even when they're like it can seem catastrophic, there's never a point where you should be like embracing that negativity or feeding into someone else's negativity. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's unhealthy and it accomplishes nothing.
Yeah.
And yeah, like the gems even console Steven at the end, saying like, "Hey, you got 50% right." And like Pearl in particular, because like throughout the episode, you show her clearly distressed at the state of the spire and wanting to, bring it back to its full glory. And then when it gets destroyed, like she's right with the other gems, making sure Steven's okay and showing him that it's okay to mess up. Like
Yeah, and it's so mature too, because like obviously this is like for Pearl, this is an incredibly important monument. Like this is something that has so much history, and we know that Pearl is very much like a past. She always is looking towards the past for all of her motivation and things for her character.
yeah,
So I think it's really I think of myself when I was like younger, when I was in like high school, and how much failure would devastate me, and how like much of an overachiever I was, and how much I really resonate with this kind of message right now as an adult. Like I think this is such a powerful thing to put out, and how like I said multifaceted last episode, I won't do it again. How like deep some of the messages in this literal children's cartoon can be.
Yeah.
And I know I sound like a dork.
Well, it's just showing like a healthy family unit, and
Yeah.
and just like it takes a lot of like I give the gems credit. It takes a lot of strength to have that kind of like consoling nature and just that love behind everything. Whereas like I know plenty of parents would like scream at their children if they messed up. But yeah, it's healthy and it's nice and it makes me happy.
Exactly. I think that's like the three big things that I can also say. And it just, like watching this makes me feel very happy, very cheery. It's just good.
Yeah.
That's my review of Steven Universe. It's just good.
It's a good thing. And then and the very end, the raft comes back, which I love myself a good brick joke.
Yes, very good. That was really good reincorporation.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's about the end of the episode. Steven's really first outside adventure. I mean, this was the first time the setting wasn't Beach City too.
Yeah, and also I know we always kind of mention it in these, but just to give it its own mention, the backgrounds and the design of this location were so awesome.
Oh yeah,
Just so incredibly memorable. Like, I remembered this setting so well. I think I watched this episode like once or twice before, or at least 2 times before. And like, I don't know, they just do such a good job with there's like a minimalism that they employ with the
yes,
backgrounds.
that's
It's
a
so
great
powerful.
aspect or great description. The minimalism of it all. I mean, like the shades of blue, and then you have the starry background. It's just it's visually striking, definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, just awesome. Looked great. I'm just always like, I don't know. I feel like as I'm getting more into art and I'm trying to become more of an artistic individual. That sounds really stupid now that I said it out loud.
Nothing wrong with
But
that.
I feel like I'm appreciating color a lot more, and I really I think the color choices in Steven Universe, particularly with like the backgrounds and effects, like anytime like they use the warp teleport thing, how it like lights up everything and like just I think it just looks so nice. It's just so like pleasurable to look at.
Yeah. Um, I art pretty. uh,
Art pretty,
a fun little
says Tom.
thing to. Oh yeah, I mean, I think I speak for everybody when I say art pretty. Uh, a fun little note too. Here on forward, the statue is I don't know if it's actually here on forward or a couple episodes later, but the statue gets placed above his bed and then stays there forever after.
Oh, I've never noticed that. That's such a great detail.
Yeah,
I'm gonna totally look out for that next time.
yeah. It's just like that. I mean, it would be so easy for the artists to forget to add that in too, but just like
Yeah.
little details like that, I love.
It goes so far into making the world feel more real and like a world that I want to go to, which it is one that I really want to go to.
Oh yeah, it would just be so much fun. I
All
appreciate
right.
Steven having a Nintendo 64 too.
Oh, yes, that's also really good.
But yeah, go ahead, Jim.
So I was going to say, I think we can move on to the next little bit. Any final thoughts on this episode? I thought it was just really good. It's definitely like I've already said, like the last 2 episodes are in my like probably top 10 Steven Universe episodes. This one I probably could easily join them.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great episode for many reasons. And especially the I mean, geez, you saw Cheeseburger backpack at like Hot Topics everywhere after this. It always amazes me how much they're able to do in 10 minutes. Like I don't know, you get so much and a good amount of development in such a short time. And this episode is no different.
Actually, I do have one final thing I want to say. I wish I brought it up earlier. The expressions of the characters are all over the place in this episode. They went ham on like I feel like every frame a character's on screen, they have a different reaction or interesting face. And it's not like people like to clown on the show for having like inconsistent character modeling. This is just like good animation and good character design.
Yeah.
Even Pearl, who I think Pearl is a very challenging character to animate in like to give like quirky expressions to. She's given a lot of really good ones.
Yeah, see, you're definitely right. It's something that I didn't really pay that much attention to while watching the episode. Actually, but it's a great point. And just good on the artists.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Just GG. Good job, Korea. You're doing great.
I will say just I love that later too.
Yeah.
But just decide on a size for Steven is my only complaint.
I 100% agree.
But other than that, nice job. Yeah. So what do you got next for us, Jimmy?
All right. So you did ask me last time to remind you of any hugs. I believe it was any hugs that were missed in the first or in the second episode because you didn't do your little report. Did you have any?
Update. No true hugs.
Okay.
No true hugs, and this episode actually holds true as well.
Yeah, and there's also as my reporting, no crying. I was shocked and appalled. I really thought that Stephen cried in every episode. I'm challenging my own preconceptions with this.
Yeah, maybe this is good for us because we both assumed. I assumed there'd be hugging all the time.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Disgusting.
What they say, assume it makes don't do it.
All right. And then so for our final little bit,
Yeah.
I asked you before to think about the idea of a gem sona and maybe incorporating a gem sona in our branding. So, Tom, what is your gem sona and what would they look like?
I did think about it, and I decided that my gem sona would be jade. Yeah, a nice green, like a creamy green jade. You know, stability. In fact, hold on, because I have a little thing here about
All
jade.
right, I'm excited.
Jade is a symbol of serenity and purity. It signifies wisdom gathered in tranquility. It increases love and nurturing. A protective stone, jade keeps the wearer from harm and brings harmony. Jade attracts good luck and friendship. It stabilizes the personality and promotes self-sufficiency. Soothes the mind, releasing negative thoughts, and stimulates ideas. Jade encourages you to become who you really are. I'm a jade, baby!
You know what? 100% agree. I can't think of another gem. Honestly, every word that you said, I was like, this is Tom. Like, everything about this is just Tom.
Woo! I feel like
yeah.
I would be a lankier gem.
Okay.
I feel like I would have more, like, traditional clothes. I'm trying to think. Like baggier clothes. Obviously, I would be green. I think the clothes would be white and green.
Okay.
And I would be beautiful. I would just be gorgeous. And I would have long braided hair in a ponytail.
Very nice.
Yeah, and the hair would be a much darker shade of green, compared to the body, which would be like a foresty green. Well, it would be a jade green. Yeah, so that would be my gem sona.
Very cool.
Yeah, y'all thought I forgot. I didn't.
I have also thought of my gem sona.
Please.
And so I looked up a list of gemstones and I found a, quite frankly, incredibly long list.
Oh, okay.
I know that there's a lot of like because like gemstones are, I guess they're just rocks, and there's a lot of different types of rocks. But I found one that I thought was really cool, and I thought of a cool way to incorporate it into a character. So it's Anatase or Anatase.
Oh,
I don't know how it's pronounced. I will describe it.
Never heard of it, so please.
So my character would be Gray Anatase, because Anatase is a it's got a really weird shape. It's got like a what's like a tetragonal form is how it's described, and it kind of looks like what do you call like a triangle, not a triangular prism, like two pyramids. It kind of looks like two pyramids with their butts touching.
Okay.
If you know what I mean.
I do, and that's a great way to describe it.
And it looks gorgeous. It comes in like all these like really like earthier shades, and I thought the gray one looks really cool. So my character Gray Anatase, she would be a smaller gem. She's pretty small. She has like gray skin, and the gem itself is a little shiny. It's got like a little, the kind of like a I'm trying to think of actually how stupid this would be if it was in the show, because it would be hard to animate if it had like a sort of sunbursty like orangish pattern, as you can see in some of the gems if you look them up.
I am looking them up now, and I totally see it.
I did draw her. Hold on.
Oh.
Let me grab my sketchbook and try not to draw anything.
Great.
All right. So I drew. So how I incorporated the gem itself, because all the gems have like a different location. So hers is in like her forehead, so it kind of looks like a horn, like a fat horn. If you've ever seen Fully Cooley, I just realized right now it kind of looks like how the main character in Fully Cooley's weird horn thing looks. And she looks really cool. She's got like a big floofy skirt thing and really messy hair because it kind of parts around the gem. Very cool. And she's a gray skin, like blackish hair. Love to see it.
You will definitely have to send me a picture of that so I could see.
Oh, I will. I'll send you right now.
And to clarify,
live reaction.
My gem would be on my upper left arm.
Upper left arm. Okay, yeah. I'm writing this down.
The classic, like tribal tattoo / barbed wire tattoo area of the arm, like right there.
Got it.
Yeah, Jimmy, you will have to draw me.
I would love to. I'm definitely planning on it. I'm sending you mine right now. Hold on. Oops, actually, terrible picture. So you get a viewers, beloved listeners, you get a live reaction of Tom's reaction to Gray Agate. Oh, no, wait. No, it's not Agate. Anataze. Also, I thought it'd be cute if her nickname would be Anna, because it's Anataze.
Oh.
Anna. Just like that bad Frozen movie that I don't like.
You mean the best movie in the world?
No.
Only surpassed by Frozen 2.
That's a discussion for a different...
I received a photo. I like the gem jutting out like that too. Very
the idea. I wanted it to be like kind of like a unicorn horn or like a horn in the middle of the head. I thought that'd be a fun idea, and I don't think it was done in the show. Viewers, correct me if I'm missing a gem. If we see a gem that has like a horn, I think that some of the like what are they called? The gems that we see later on, the corrupted ones, I think some of them might have like one or two horns like jutting out the side, but this is like a horn from the center, like a unicorn.
That's a good question. Because I was originally be like, oh, Jasper, but she has the helmet, but that's not the gem.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll have to keep an eye out for that.
Yep.
Add it to the list.
The list.
But folks, it looks very nice. Good job, Jimmy, and
thank you.
Very pretty. Yeah, so I think that about sums up today. Good episode. Lots to discuss as things come on. We are all diamonds. Really Garnet is a diamond. Pearl is a diamond. And and we'll see that later on.
The real spoiler.
Yeah.
Steven Universe Future 2.
Pearl, white diamond.
All right, so I think we can wrap it up from there. Thank you so much for listening. I had a great time also recording this.
Yes,
and
fantastic.
Watching Steven Universe again. This is such a fun outlet for my free time and creativity right now.
Oh yeah, anything is great, and this is nice to make the days a little less chaotic.
Hell yes.
Yes. I love you all. I would kiss.
Likewise.
I would kiss each and every one of you. Like kindly though, not like sensually.
Platonically.
Yeah. It's just a couple of people just hanging out and kissing. You know. All right. Yeah.
All right.
Hopefully we will see you next time, everyone.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye.